The Israeli Prime Minister has been careful not to show any preference towards either candidate when it comes to the American presidential elections. But as Israel prepares for the final months of the Obama administration, that soon may change. Some are concerned that the American government may pressure the current Israeli coalition to support a certain candidate. ILTV's Steve Leibowitz sat down with Times of Israel editor-in-chief David Horovitz to find out if that concern is legitimate.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he did indicate that. I think he said ahead of the closed-door part of his meeting with Netanyahu, he wanted to hear from Netanyahu how the two-state solution is to be kept alive. I didn't hear him saying, hey, I'm going to make one last push or even hint. I've heard his people not quite ruling it out. And you're right, there's precedent. There was the very last gasp effort from Clinton, for example, who at least set out parameters. There's lots of things that Obama could do that are short of some kind of heavy-handed, I would say, bridge-burning exercise where, people have speculated he might back something at the UN that's really problematic for Israel. He might, but I also think there are a lot of far less dramatic things that he might choose to do. He might make a big speech. He might release a version of the understandings that were reached when his secretary, John Kerry, was trying to broker a deal in 2013 to 2014. I don't know. I tend to think, and time will tell, I don't think he's going to do something that will leave either side saying, wow, at the very last he let us down. I don't think he's going to want to do that. And he had 8 years, and he made it a priority, and he didn't get anywhere. So why he would think, or he didn't get anywhere to his satisfaction, why would he think that in his final weeks he could achieve something? I mean, put down a marker maybe, but achieve something, hard to believe. And therefore, by definition, when you're going to alienate these two sides that you tried to be an honest broker with, I find it hard to believe he'll do something that either side would deem offensive.
One of the things that Netanyahu said during his speech in the United Nations, perhaps the most dramatic moment, I suppose, was when he issued an invitation to Mahmoud Abbas, the president of the Palestinian Authority, to come to Israel and to speak at the Israeli Knesset. Do you think it was a sincere offer that he thought could actually succeed? Of course, Abbas has rejected it.
Look, you make an offer like that, you have to take into account that it might be accepted. Does he think that Abbas is likely to do it? I can't imagine so, because I think he knows enough about how the world works in the Palestinian territories where such an act might be deemed, in Abbas's assessment, to be normalization too far. So he may anticipate that it's very unlikely that Abbas would come. But hey, if Abbas was to take him up on it, he'd have been in trouble if he hadn't meant it sincerely. You've had Palestinian Authority delegations meeting in the Knesset. I've been I think there's maybe only 1 or 2 meetings like that, but I've been in one of those rooms, and the Palestinian flag was up there, across from the Israeli flag, behind the people who are hosting the Israeli delegation and the Palestinian delegation. It's not completely beyond all comprehension or contemplation that Abbas could take him up on it. And let's, again, this is not the 1970s, and this is not Egypt, and there's a great many differences. But before President Sadat of Egypt came to the Knesset in 1977, Israeli public opinion was hostile to the notion of relinquishing territory that we captured in the Six-Day War for the theory of a peace agreement with Egypt. And then this man came to the Knesset, this man who had overseen a very bitter war against Israel just 4 years earlier, and he said, let's make peace. Let's put the wars between us behind us. And there was a revolution in Israeli public opinion. And we had a right-wing, Holocaust-scarred, skeptical prime minister named Menachem Begin, but of course he engaged with Sadat. So sometimes political drama, acts of resonance can change a narrative and change a climate. I don't think there's a parallel here. I don't think that Abbas is about to take him up on it. But in a way, that's the tragedy. Because if Abbas was the kind of leader who would say, you know what, I'm going to do it. I don't particularly like this prime minister. I don't like his policies. I don't think he's good for my people. All the problems that he would doubtless want to recite. But I'm going to go there and I'm going to say to the people of Israel, via their legislators, in their parliament, my people want peace. And we're prepared to reach terms that both sides can live with. What a wonderful thing that would be. The tragedy, the interesting thing is the extension of the invitation. The tragedy is that in the climate that we have and with the personalities that we have, nobody is going to make that resonant, climate-changing, dramatic gesture.